they don't get you amped up.
Some people like that.
I'm ready. Like when I hear these,
some people
preachers,
get frightened by the shouting.
When I hear like these preachers saying like, "I'm speaking to somebody," it's me. You're speaking to me, and I just want to throw my head through a wall.
Oh my God!
I do.
You're out of control today.
Hello and welcome back to the Croak and Crow podcast. You know what episode it is? If you had to guess.
It's over 12.
It's over 12. We're on episode 17. Okay? Not 16. Did that already. Not 18. We didn't do that yet.
You're always good for the description,
We're on episode 17, people. It's a big episode, the biggest.
You say that every time.
Well, it just keeps getting bigger.
That
We're
makes
on
me
an upwards
feel pressure.
trajectory, and if you don't maintain that, then you'll fail.
Wow.
And what are we talking?
No pressure.
What are we talking about today?
You didn't introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Spencer. See, 17th podcast. You came along the ride. You know who I am. I'm Spencer.
I'm Miss V. That's what my dad used to call me.
What are we talking about, Miss V?
Mistakes. Mistakes.
I made some mistakes. I made some mistakes in my days. I made some mistakes on these podcasts. Okay, the people have spoken, and guess what? I'm illiterate. You got me. You got me. You found out. I don't know how to spell exercise.
You don't know how to say exercise.
Well, that's where it starts. I can't speak correctly. How am I supposed to spell correctly? I misspelled exercise, but I stand by it. I stand by my mistake. Exercise. But did you know it's exercise? I thought
it's a hard word for me.
Exercise.
It's a hard word for me.
I put a C where a C doesn't belong.
I know, but why are you saying ek like it's EK? It's X.
What sound does an X make?
X.
Yeah. Exercise.
Yeah.
No, not X.
Exercise.
Yeah, I thought it was exercise.
Okay. Not a problem. So you did that. You wrote that in a previous podcast.
I did.
So if
two previous podcasts.
If anybody sees it and says, "Teacher, Miss V, he spelled wrong." Who cares?
Okay, well, so what do I do? You brought the topic up. I made a mistake. Now what? Do I apologize for it? No, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'll do it again.
No, everyone needs a YouTube apology video.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. The thing that people love to correct. Well, actually, there's two things people love to correct.
Everything people love to correct.
Well, I mean online. Spelling and grammar.
Yeah.
If you make a mistake, watch out. You're
done for.
People will be on you.
You're tarred and feathered.
You did the your and you are.
That spell checks me wrong all the time. And then I just quick send and I'm like, whoever I send this to probably thinks I'm an idiot. You're
not an idiot. As long as you get your point across. Okay? I feel extra muffled today. As long as you get your point across. I do okay with spelling. And I do okay with grammar.
Must be nice.
But, so do you. But I make the mistakes. But I don't like when people freak out about other people's spelling mistakes. Who cares? I did terrible at spelling B's because of the pressure.
Spelling B's? That's easy. B. I'm done. I just spelled B.
No. I could spell on paper, but when you have to stand there and you're being eliminated, and I just wanted to sit down.
Yeah, I choke under the pressure.
I didn't like the pressure. So
in my just to cut you off.
No, I had nothing. I'm so sorry.
They apologizing to me. In the I'm gonna say second grade. That sounds like where grade this would happen. It wasn't a spelling bee, but I was embarrassed. My face was red nonetheless. So it was just one of these sheets, and it had all the words on it, and it was just like it would show a picture of a word, and you'd spell it. And for water, I was sounding them out in my head, and I always thrived on being a good student, and I never liked to feel dumb because I wasn't dumb, and I was like, okay, water. I spelled it Wooter.
Water, the way you say it.
Water, and when the teacher wrote it correctly, I'm like, I'm so stupid. Or it might have been a D or a T. I just remember, and I was like, and that's the day I stopped saying water. And
Listen.
You'll never see me spell it wrong again.
You're not dumb no one is dumb if they can't spell a word. Okay? And, or if you can't, if you don't know your syntax or you don't know a definition, you're not dumb. It's either you have never learned it or you learned it and you forgot it, but you're not dumb. Don't think that. Don't worry about it. I can't remember this person's name. Oh my gosh. Mufti Menk, maybe. There's a famous Muslim, like a priest in the Muslim, and it's like he's very famous. He's on Instagram. He's on YouTube, and he is like one of the top influential Muslims who talk to the whole world type of people. And I just came across his he has a bunch of videos, but I came across one. I think when Biden said inshallah.
Yeah.
So I was looking up what does inshallah mean, and basically it means like God willing. I think again we're talking about mistakes. If that was a mistake, it was a mistake. But he was trying to talk to people who say how to spell it. Mm-hmm. You need to spell it IN apostrophe, SHA. No, there's only 2 L's. No, there's 1 A. There's, on and on and on. And literally more than just a spelling mistake of a title sequence for, your podcast, they were saying you are dishonoring Muhammad because you're spelling it wrong. That's not the way. And this highly, imam, I think they're called, he said, as long as it gets your point across. Yeah. As long as you know what it means and the people know what it means. Yeah. So the people who saw your video and he's like, it said exercise. Everyone knows it meant exercise. And then when you watch it, we were talking about exercising. Yeah. And that's like an important word as opposed to other words. So I really like that video because so tiptoeing around religious things, especially Islamic things, are you offending or whatever? And he said, no, every country does it differently. Yeah. Even in the same country, people do it differently. Like, it's okay as long as it's getting your point across. Yeah,
that's what I feel. I mean, my last name is Cartier. How do you say it in French?
Cartier.
Cartier.
I can't.
No, I need to say.
Oh, wow.
I need to say this. Give me something French to say.
Croissant.
Oh, you know what I have to do? I always have to do a laugh, and then I can say,
okay.
Wait, let me try it again.
I'm glad I have a mask on because this seems like a lot of expel. Yeah.
Cartier.
Okay.
Okay. But it's
people don't get
spelled Cartier. There's no A and stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't understand like if getting so mad like because people will call it Cartier, and it's like I know who you're talking about. Unless there is, a Spencer Cartier over there who's like, oh well, we need to know the distinction. It's like, and also I'm not French, or no, not I'm not. Whatever, wherever the name comes from, that's fine. But I'm saying
you're not.
I'm not in
speaker.
France.
Yeah,
like
a French speaker.
If someone's reading it, I don't expect them like.
Yeah.
Cartier is from the French dialect, and the ER should be. It's like they're reading how they see it,
right?
And I know who they're talking about. Is there a Mr. Cartier in the class? It's like, yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah. Yeah, I grew up with McDonald's. Right. McDonnell. So you can imagine we had McDonald's and O'Donnell, and with 1 L and 2 L's, and McDonnell and McD. It didn't matter to me. Some people it matters a lot. People, even first names, especially recently, people get very offended, especially if their name is cultural. Yeah. They want it. It's asking a lot from a lot of people, but it's your personal preference,
Yeah.
Like I said, like I do every day with my name when I introduce myself, I say you can call me whatever you want because it is Verona. I get everything. I even get Veronica, which it's not Veronica ever, but some people care, some people don't.
If you're a Frenchman out there and your last name is Cartier, you can be a stickler about it, but I'm not going to be.
You don't have to be.
Patty.
So you forgive others who make a mistake with your name. And I find that when we make mistakes, it's easier to forgive other people who make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
Because then you think, oh, I've done that, you know?
Yeah. Because it's less on you. You're not so much not less on you. Like what I'm trying to say is
you don't take it so personally that you're such a loser, such an idiot.
Yeah,
you know?
you can sort of understand. You can have empathy, and it's like, okay, I have spelled things wrong in the past. Who am I to tell someone else that they spelled something wrong?
Yeah, sometimes people forget that, and they really jump on someone else.
Yeah, well, that always goes back to, the throwing stones and stuff, and it's like, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
And so be lighthearted, and also in turn, I don't know where I'm going with that.
You must have made a mistake.
Yeah, I'm getting some brain mistakes.
Right.
I'm still just trying to process the way to spell exercise in my head, and it's just not.
No, I'm telling you, I feel you for that word. Because there's also exercise, which is when you take the demon out of you. Exorcise.
There's an O in that.
An exorcism?
Yeah, there's an O in that. I don't know. I don't know how to spell anything.
It doesn't matter. We have spell check.
You gotta read some books.
No, the worst is when spell check fails you.
Yeah, you know what always fails me?
I'm just fails you.
There's a word that
betrays you. That's what I was trying to
think. There's a word that spell check it never helps me. Oh my god, it's on the tip of my brain. Spell check never helps me with. I don't know. I'll come back to it.
We'll come back to it. So, people in the Bible made mistakes.
Literally.
Oh.
Literally.
Okay.
It always goes to laterally.
Oh, really?
And I don't know. It's for some reason I can't spell literally.
That's funny.
And I'm always saying it. I'm literally always saying it.
There's different words that each people have that regardless of their spelling ability, I think different people, it's like that one, I can just, it's always going to be, how do you do it?
I can't spell beginning.
No.
That's hard for me. Tomorrow, I always add an extra M.
I can't spell guarantee. I guarantee you I can't spell guarantee.
Yeah. There's some hard words out there.
There is.
And there's a lot of words, and we're expected. Is this the mistakes episode or just the words are hard episode?
I don't know. Words are hard. Words are hard.
Oh, yeah, words are hard.
Well, it's the we're all in the same basket episode, because when I hear people say, "Oh, I was so embarrassed. I picked up the wrong cup at Starbucks." I talk about Starbucks a lot, I think. I don't know why. Endorsement.
H2O, fellas.
There's H2O in coffee. Right? Don't people do that? Oh, I'm such an idiot.
Cringe.
Is there ever a time when somebody did something for the first time ever on planet Earth?
What?
Meaning, you're not the first person that picked up the wrong cup. Yeah. You're not the first person that spelled it wrong. You're not the first person.
Even if you get even if I used to have really bad stage fright, and when I say used to, it's because I graduated school and I just no longer have to be on stage. But I would get this feeling like, oh my god, this is going to be so embarrassing. I might pass out in front of the class because I would get these feelings. And then you Google it, and there's just thousands of videos of people passing out.
Exactly.
And it's both scary because it's like, oh wow, it can happen, but it's also like,
right,
okay, I'm not broke. I used to think I need psychiatric help.
You alone, yeah.
And it's I look up and it's just a bunch of people and all different types of people.
Yeah. Just
hitting the deck when they're public speaking. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I feel better at passing out now.
People, which you have never done.
By the skin of my teeth.
Yeah, I've never done. People talk bad about social media a lot, and I like a lot of stuff about social media, but one of the things I do like is that finding that similarity of this has happened to me, that oh, me too, and definitely it makes you feel not alone. And
if you pass out when you public speak, I feel you. I never did, but I could have. Only reason I didn't is because.
And life is long,
It's long or short, depending on how you look at it.
I mean, you still have a chance to do it.
I don't plan on ever public speaking again.
Yes, you will.
Never.
We're gonna do a live show of this,
and you're gonna see me.
And it. Oh, that's it! Oh my gosh.
That's gonna be me.
He really commits to this thing.
A lot of speech.
He really commits to this thing. Okay, so I'm going to say the biggest mistake in the Bible.
I'll tell you the biggest mistake in the Bible.
I know what I'm thinking, so what are you thinking?
Ooh, okay, well then, hold on. Let me think about it real quick. Biggest mistake in the Bible. There's so many mistakes.
There is, and it's very comforting. I'm just thinking the biggest mistake of humanity of
Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's an easy one. That's
points for Spencer.
You're playing t-ball. I was looking for a big league home run.
I don't know.
No, I'm thinking
that was a pretty big mistake.
That was a mistake when Moses and Adam or Aaron, I would say Adam.
Yeah.
Struck the
Can you
the
spell
rock.
Aaron?
A-R-O-N. When they struck the rock, that was a mistake.
That's right.
I'm thinking of the times when God got. Well, it was a mistake when they crucified Jesus.
Well, it was a terrible thing, but it wasn't a mistake. Like he was the person that they had pinpointed and convicted, and
it was a mistake in the sense of they thought he was a.
But like, if you talk to Eve after she ate the apple, she'd say, I made a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But if you talked to the people who crucified after, well, actually, you're right, because maybe remember when the fabric got torn and the world shook, and they said, we realized so you're right. Okay.
Oh, was just Judas killed himself.
Judah.
That was sad. I feel bad for Judas. Can I say that? Is that allowed? I don't. Maybe feel bad's the wrong word. But in the Bible, it says something like, afterwards, which like this is like the dark part of the story where you don't get in the cartoons. And so they took Jesus, and then that's when he throws the money back at them.
Yeah.
So he doesn't gain anything. Like he realized what he did, and then it says, then the devil left his body.
Yeah.
And then he went and killed himself. And it's like,
we should say a trigger warning for that though, because people don't like to hear that.
Okay.
Word.
Yeah. And so it's sad, but it's, I don't know. Let's dive down a rabbit hole.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
It's not sad because he went to heaven, and Jesus said before, during, and after that he holds no ill will against Judas, and that it was the devil, and that it's his son. They'll be together, and if the whole time Jesus was being persecuted and killed, he kept saying, the scriptures need to be fulfilled. There was no. Yeah. He never.
Because he knew what Judas was going to do, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The whole time
he said in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said you were going to betray me.
Yeah.
And it was never, Peter, Thomas, get this dude.
Of course not.
It was.
Of course not. It had to be fulfilled.
This is like same way, Peter, you're going to betray me, or you're going to deny me 3 times. It was all part. That's what I was saying of like, God has the power to make things both metaphorical and also happen literally, and like a lot of it was this were real things that were happening, but it was all predestined. This is what's going to happen, and this is why it's happening.
Even if even with that thought, I wouldn't get too tied up about Adam and Eve, because everything is happening the way it's supposed to be unfolding, and it's all okay. But there were instances of people not being perfect. Of them,
What were some other mistakes in the Bible? I'm just trying to think of all, like, sometimes that God got mad. Well, I think the David and Bathsheba, was that a mistake?
Oh, yeah.
That wasn't because he lost his firstborn because of it, but he also got to end up being with her. And was his first wife that great?
Well, don't you think the mistake was that he took her from... Is that the one he took from another man?
Yeah, more. That sounds better than it was. The man was one of his top soldiers. Great guy, great top soldier. And he saw Bathsheba, and she was a pretty old thing. And what happened? He just tried to swoon her. And she was like, well, I got a husband, so I can't do that. And he's like, okay, well, and he went to the husband, and, oh no, okay, I got the story. It came back to me. I think they did sleep together. Him and Bathsheba slept together, and she got pregnant. And David, being a man of honor, was like, this isn't good. Called the husband back from war and said, hey,
that's right.
Hey, you did so good.
Yeah.
Spend time with your wife.
Be with
that
your
way,
wife.
He'll think
he'll lay with the wife. He'll think he got the wife pregnant, and child. Nobody will ever know.
And then this honorable soldier was like, my boys, my soldiers, they're in the trenches. They're in the tents.
Good guy.
If they can't, he can't. And then David's like, what to do? I know. You're going to go to the front of the lines. Mm-hmm. Which was basically a suicide mission. And the guy was like...
Trigger warning.
Yeah.
This one's talking about suicide a lot.
The guy was like, aye, Captain. Went and died. And then David got to be with Bathsheba. But I believe that firstborn didn't make it because it was like he needed a little
okay.
Couldn't just get away with everything.
Yeah.
I loved, but see, you know why I love David though? Because he made mistakes.
Yep.
David's my favorite person in the Bible, and I'm gonna tell you why. There's a lot of people in the Bible who I love. They're amazing, you know, like Abraham and stuff. Dope dudes who I'm reading. I'm like, wow, you're incredible.
Of course.
But why I liked David so much and he moved me so much is because he was more like Abraham was. He'd kill his firstborn for God. He was devoted and it seemed like perfect in a way.
Yeah.
Like he was like, but David, he made these like big mistakes.
Right.
But he would always come back from them.
Right.
Ask for God's forgiveness. He always put God above.
Always communicating. Yeah. Always, yeah.
And there's so many Psalms where he would just like talk about, you know, like his mental feelings and like mental things he was going through of like, oh, I think like he would get really down and depressed, but then the Psalm would always turn into, but God is great and he's always there for me. And so it made it this like I was able to take so much more from it than other things. So I'm like, this was a normal dude who went through normal emotions of lust and stuff and making mistakes, but he always would, whether he knew he made a mistake or if he was doing great, he would always come back to God and say, you know, you're the greatest, like show me the way, blah blah. He was a good dude.
We'll have to do a podcast about David.
Oh,
he is your favorite.
I could go on. I have I made a stained glass piece of art.
No, you should show that. Oh, we can put it on Instagram.
About
David. Follow us on Instagram.
I'll show it right now. No, save it for I'll save it so that way you guys can wait for the David podcast.
Okay, Croak and Crow. Shoot, I was interested in what you were saying, so it made me forget what I was going to think about. But I know what you said. My favorite person. I was happy you said my favorite person because I hear people saying, "Who's your favorite character in the Bible?" I'm serious. And I'm like, it's a person. It was a person. It was a real person who went through real things like we do. Yeah. And sure, character isn't too bad, but I just find you have much better connection when you say, my favorite person.
And I think more than like jokingly, like, oh, it's character. The problem with that is people, like, obviously everyone in the Bible should be put on a pedestal because they went through their trials, they went through their tribulations. Right. You saw their story. But people put a disconnect. Like, do you think the connection between God and humans stopped? Like, because it'd be one thing if you argued it stopped with Jesus, but if you believe in the story, like all of Paul's books, Revelation, so you believe there's still a connection even after Jesus. Why would that have stopped? It wouldn't have. And so don't think like, oh, look at these people, like they live
you feel lives, so removed from them.
They live lives connected through God.
It's like what's this mythology things that you talk about, you know, like Nike and those people.
Oh, like Greek mythology?
Yeah. When you think of those people, like it's a story. You don't have real human connection.
Exactly. And it's like these were real people just living lives just like you are and looking for that connection just like you do. And so don't feel like there is this disconnect of, oh wow, you know, look at all these great people from biblical times. It's like you can have those connections now. You can be like those people from that you read about. That's that. No mistakes about it.
Right. God sees everything and he sees our mistakes and it's not a problem. Sometimes he fixes mistakes.
Yeah, a little white out on paper.
If it needs to be fixed. There's a story, I remember the servant's name was Hagar, I think. Hagar?
Hagrid. This is Harry Potter you're speaking.
No. Character. No, it's, I think it's Sarah. Her husband she needed to give her husband a child. She couldn't give her husband a child. She told the husband to sleep with her maid.
Isn't this Abraham?
Is that Abraham? No, it's not Abraham. It's don't do that face. Anyway, it doesn't matter. He told her, she said to him, sleep with my maid.
Yeah.
The maid got pregnant.
Yeah.
And then
didn't they kick them both out of the town?
Yeah, because I guess
then she got pregnant.
But you're jumping ahead to this.
And then angels were involved. All right, you tell us. I'm gonna listen, but I'm also going to
go ahead. So, what my point of bringing up this story that I kind of am only loosely can remember. The maid got kicked out for getting pregnant with the man, even though that was the plan. And she went out by a well and she was drawing water and she's so sad. She lost the house she was in. She lost her people and she's pregnant. God spoke.
It was Abraham.
It was Abraham?
Abraham's wife Sarah and the maid Hagar.
God said to the woman at the well, hello. And she was like, oh my gosh, like the one who sees all sees me. And he told her to go back to the house. So, like, what part of it was a mistake, whatever, but...
Baby mama drama, if you will.
No, but there was a mistake made that... And she had to go back to that house. Yeah. She was never going back to the house. They weren't coming to get her. And God intervened and was like, okay, this is what you're going to do. So there are times, too, that he fixes your mistakes.
Yeah.
If it's, if it was something to benefit everybody.
Yeah. I think there's no mistake made that, because that's like what a mistake is, right? I think there is things that you can do on Earth that are bad, but a lot of bad things that are done on Earth are mistakes, right? Like whether it be out of ignorance or
passion,
emotion, and I think it's important to know that like God is here to help you work on your mistakes, right. I think there's very few people that are truly evil of heart, and
right.
And honestly, I think God's there for people who make mistakes.
Yes,
and you see it a lot in in prisons and stuff. You see a lot of people find God and Jesus there, and I think a big part of that is that whole forgiveness thing. It's this forgiveness, and these people who know they've made mistakes.
Yes.
And then they find this relationship with a forgiving God.
Right.
And, even though people don't forgive them for their mistakes, he does.
Right.
And you see, some of the most influential people I'll hear talk that, maybe came out of prisons and they found God, and it was just that. It was when no one else would, God forgave, I forgive, right. God forgave me for my mistakes, and I was able to forgive myself.
Right. And
then move on and live a happy life. And so that's the whole point of forgiveness is you make a mistake and you're forgiven for it. That's why you're forgiven, is because it's a mistake.
Right.
You're not like, I'll do it again. It's
right.
I forgive you. It's no, it's I did this. I know. And it's okay, you shouldn't have done that, but I forgive you. And
forgiveness can walk side by side with paying the price of your crime.
Yeah. So that was David.
Okay.
So David with Bathsheba, I believe I'm getting the story right. Who knows? At this point, someone could put a compilation of all our stories and just put it next to the Bible. It's completely different.
I think I'm shaking the thing. But that's why we had to do this podcast, because this is going to be the disclaimer for everything we ever say. We never said we didn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
So he made this mistake out of love, or lust, or whatever you call it.
Weakness.
And God caused that child to not be he was, because he was on a different level of a normal human. God gave him a lot, and so it was and he knew he was devastated by the loss of his child, but he knew he made a mistake, and then afterwards God forgave. Then God forgave him and continued to live a very long life very close to God.
Yeah. There are people who have committed, even if it's not a crime, but a crime or some act against someone else or something else, and they know they're forgiven from God, but they still want to pay, they don't want to give up the punishment, because yes, of course your spirit is incorruptible.
Yeah.
Okay. So like if you were shoplifting, that's your body.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to have to pay your fine, or you're going to have to do your community service or whatever. But just because you say you're forgiven, or the store forgives you, or God forgives you, you would still pay your price for that.
Yeah.
Though immediately
I went through a whole speech. Like it's what is it called when someone comes to somewhere and they speak?
Lecture?
Yeah, it was like a lecture of this guy, and he like studied Nordic law, I think, and it was a lot about how they dealt with things like an arm for an arm, like things like that, and like you pay your price. But is something funny?
Yeah, the way I just drank.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna regret it when I see it. Maybe you could cut it down.
Yeah, it's talking about Nordic law and talking about how you did your payments and the blah blah blah. We just got into money, and he started talking about paying for crimes and how the point of it was not so much for the forgiveness or whatever of like but it was it's easy to say I'm sorry and like be sorry, but it's like harder. It's more of an incentive to not do things when there's money involved,
right?
And it's the same sort of way. It's like you're forgiven by God, but like there's a certain I also know I made an earthly on a spiritual level I'm forgiven, but I made an earthly mistake and I should pay an earthly price. What do you think about what did the middle-aged Catholics do?
Middle-aged?
Not middle-aged. Dark ages. Where what is it? Annulments? Atonements?
Oh, atonements.
Atonements. Because that's what got me thinking. So everyone knows that. Am I thinking of the right thing?
I don't know.
Okay, what I'm thinking of, I'll put it right here. It's right here. What I'm thinking of is where back in kings and queens time, the Catholic Church used to have you pay atonement.
Oh.
And so it was part of like
a spiritual fine.
Yeah. Well, what is it when you
penance?
Oh my God, I can't remember anything. My mind's mush.
Just keeps making mistakes.
Yeah. And so you would say, hey, I cheated on my wife, I killed my dog, and I threw my kid on the ground. And then you would, on top of saying I'm sorry, you would pay money. And the reason I'm bringing this up is from non-Catholics, a lot of people attack old Catholic Church. And if you go to the Bashing Catholics episode, you'll see us talk about that. But generally, I would always be like, yeah, whatever. But then it got me thinking when I learned about the Nordic lecture and this, bringing it all together, I'm like, in a way, it's very easy to go to penance and say, I beat my dog and I
always with the dogs in you. What is going on?
I love dogs. I know.
I don't know. You burned your neighbor's barn. How about?
I burned my dog.
No! Trigger warning.
And but it's like it was because it's voluntary.
Yeah.
It's one thing if the Catholic Church was coming house to house and saying, I saw you bite your dog's ear. Give us money. No, but you would go and then you would pay these payments because it would almost make you feel.
That's the thing.
Better.
It actually helps you.
Yeah.
People want to do something when you're truly penitent. What can I do?
Yeah.
And even though it doesn't make it better, and you still feel bad, and you're still thinking about it. With so many of the things we talked about, we talked about holy water and stuff. Yeah. What really is it? They're physical things. We're at this point in our existence, we're physical.
Yeah.
And so they're physical things that we can do to help us go through emotions.
Yeah.
And
do you ever help someone and then they try to give you just a little bit of money for it and you're like, no, and they're like, please take the money. It's not. I get it. You don't want it, but for me to take it. And it's like I said, I had done zero research into atonements, even if that's what they're called. But just from that point of view,
just the idea, it
was just a counter.
People still do it, yeah. So people still do it. They donate to someone's charity, or they, it's just trying to give because you feel like you've taken.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Trying to give because you feel like you've taken.
Yeah.
I like it.
So mistakes happen. That's why we have erasers. There's something like that. I don't know.
Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody has those days.
I have a feeling I knew these were.
Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody makes mistakes.
I knew these were some.
That's Hannah Montana.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So don't feel bad about your mistakes.
And guess what? Don't be afraid to make mistakes because it means you're trying something.
That's right.
When I make a mistake spelling, it's because I spelled something. You know how you make 0 grammar mistakes? So if you don't say a single word.
You never put. Yeah. You never. Know.
So don't wait around until you're perfect.
That's right.
In anything, tell me your profession. Tell me you're are you a baker? I used to be a baker. You think I made all those?
You think I made all the food right? Oh my god!
You think I made anything right? No. You think I made my first few cakes without dropping an egg or mixing the wrong amount of flour? I messed up. I would burn my brownies. I would undercook my cupcakes.
We now know why he's not a baker anymore.
And I didn't get the chance to fix. No, but in anything, you're a carpenter. You probably had a whole stack of wood you messed up. In stained glass, you should have seen how much. First of all, how many times my fingers were bleeding, but how much broken scrap glass I made. But it's going through those mistakes that make you learn how to do things right. You learn from your mistakes, and that's what's important. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Be afraid not to learn from them.
Right.
Oof, I'm just spitting truth.
That's
spitting
the first
knowledge.
thing you've said.
Somebody is listening to this right now. I'm speaking to somebody. Somebody made a mistake, and I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you who made a mistake. You learn from that mistake, and you grow.
I know that guy is trying to get out.
I know.
And I'm feeling as the podcast go on, he might.
Oh my god!
The day you show up in the Steve Harvey suit, I know that I'm going to be cropped out of the.
I just show me one. Like, okay, I like all preachers and ministers and priests, but they're all pretty casual. They don't get you amped up.
Some people like that.
I'm ready. Like when I hear these.
Some people get frightened by the shouting.
When I hear like these preachers sound like, I'm speaking to somebody. It's me. You're speaking to me, and I just want to throw my head through a wall.
Oh my god!
I do.
You're out of control today.
I do.
You are. Listen. Be nice to people who make mistakes. Don't think you ever will be done. Like you talked about when I started baking and when I started stained glass and when I started holding babies. All the babies I dropped. No, but you have to know that even the most seasoned expert still makes mistakes.
Yeah.
And don't feel embarrassed by it, and don't give up. Like, oh, I did that, so this isn't for me, or I'm so ashamed, or whatever.
Yeah. Life's about making mistakes. How boring would life be without mistakes? And how many things wouldn't have been made?
Yeah, that's right.
You know how many inventions were made by mistake? Like the microwave?
Yeah, there's a Thomas Edison quote. Shoot. I wish I had just beep 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 beep.
Don't worry. Forget it. I already found it in the future. That's the Thomas Edison quote right there.
That is it.
That's the one. It's a great quote, isn't it?
Okay. All right. So go out there and make mistakes.
I think there's no other way to end it than in the wise words of Bob Ross. Aww. There are no mistakes, only happy accidents.
Accident.
Are you just ever going to make a new one?
No, this is...
All right, guys.
Maybe, but...
That's our show. You know what to do.
Call back.
You might have made a mistake in the first 16 episodes and not liked, not subscribed, or not shared. But guess what?
It's your time for atonement.
Yeah. This is the time to learn from your mistakes and realize, wait a second, these videos are so good, I gotta keep
We'll wait. Go ahead. Yeah. Click it.
All right, y'all. We'll be back with episode
18.
It's all right.
I don't know.
We'll see. All right. If it's not, it was just a little mistake we made. All right, y'all. Peace.